What's up, YouTube? What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the layout, boy.
I was sitting here and just thinking, why is GPUs getting so expensive? And it started to hit me. Like, I'm not trying to shit for these companies, you guys. This is going to be a take. But graphics come a long way. Gaming came a long way. To the point to where things are starting to look real, man. Like, it's like you're watching movies in game. And I'm really noticing. The biggest thing I noticed, when you buy a modern GPU, it's so much more tech into it. It's not just RAS. Much as we don't like AI, AI is here to stay. AI helps. AI does boost performance. You have not seen that back then like how it is now with the upscaling. DLSS4 being on all RTX cards is a dub, for sure. AMD finally catching up with the 9070 XT. That thing is it's a beast. If you can get it for MSRP or close to it, I'm telling you, it's a beast. For the money, I can't fight against it. So it's like, when you look at cards in a longer form or longer term way, you can stretch a lot more life out of modern day GPUs more than ever, to where, yes, it used to always be people typically upgrade the enthusiasts 3 to 5, the top end enthusiasts, the pros gotta have the best of the best. And then there's the enthusiast category, you gotta just get something every at least 3 to 5 years is typically what they say. Maybe we're just starting to see a switch, is what I'm saying, y'all. Maybe we're starting to see a switch to where now we need to get out of that I need to get a new GPU, I need to get a new GPU mindset and embrace what we have, because you can stretch your graphics card a lot longer nowadays. With consoles having the gap as long as they have, with games, revolution barely increasing and getting any better than what it is, it's starting to look like Moore's Law is dead in every aspect in my way. Like, everything is starting to hit a ceiling and it's coming down. We're seeing big hits crash. Everybody's already dogging Marathon. You got Concord failing. Like, things has changed in the gaming industry, and they're starting to learn. Like, also, what we got, Anthem, Cyberpunk. You know how unstable these things been when they came out? What I'm getting at is, like, we are hitting a peak. We're hitting a ceiling. It's getting harder and harder. Did I not see the 5000 series uplifts? Did y'all not? It's getting harder and harder to get performance. So when you get a new GPU, you are able to stretch the life a lot longer than typical. With this monitor alone, I have, with a click of a button, I go from 4K, this whole image, this nice image y'all seeing, goes from 4K down to 1080p. And when I'm at 1080p, it stretches my computer a lot longer than it ever could have.
Hey, man, wait, Lotus. We could have been do that.
No, like I said, bro, I ain't talking about the dual monitor. I ain't talking about the monitor, the 1080p, the second monitor. I'm legit saying, I legit, by a click of a button, can go down at 1080p. And with me going down to 1080p, I'm able to stretch so much more life out of my GPU. And games don't look that much different. And modern gaming is starting to look really good no matter the resolution. But all this is coming from this video, y'all, is I kind of got in a bubble. where I'm like stuck at 4K, and I had to start thinking like, so many people are still at 1080p, and 1440p is like a growing resolution. I took a survey and I saw that, and a lot of people just don't do 4K. A lot of people say that like ultra wide is what is the max at 1440p. So it's like, I bought this monitor and I ain't really been thinking about 1080p. I just been enjoying 4K. I'm not gonna lie. And I'm like, why am I not really taking advantage of my rig? Taking advantage of my monitor that I bought. You know? So I started to play around with it. Playing around with dual mode. Getting my eyes back accustomed. Because I started off with 1080p. Listen, I started off with a 2060 Super 3600. First build. You know, same PC, same chassis, same motherboard. Just upgraded. AM4. If you bought AM4, invested into it at the early stages, it paid off. I slowly did the smartest thing ever without even knowing it. When I first ever built my rig, I just love the combinations I did. I overspent in some ways, but it came back to help me in the end. Now that it came to upgrade seasons and stuff like that. So, like I say, guys, this is 1080p mode right here, and the frames is high. With a 4080 Super, when we in the year 2030, I still should not have a real reason. With all these games that I'm able to max out currently at such a high frame rate, with the ultra performance, and all these upscaling, y'all, like, graphics cards are actually getting crazy and cool. They're getting spec and brim to the rim with features that will help carry you in the long run. So, to those guys who are spending $1,500, $1,300 on 5080s, coming off a 10,000 series, 1,000 series, you know, all those other guys are coming from the old platforms. Some coming from 3,000 series, 6,000 series, I don't really justify people coming from last gen. I did thought about it, I'm not gonna lie, but I am not spending $1,500 on a GPU when I built the whole rig for $1,200 with a 9070 XT. The video is just in over their head. I had the price little thing match. I had the Best Buy stock notifications alert, everything and all the other extra crap. And I have not got a notification or anything like that to get me one for the low price, available price. So, I do a lot of content, I do a lot of work, stuff like that. So I needed something like that. I am very familiar with NVIDIA, but I can't support it. I bought the 9070 XT and it's surprised me, to be real with y'all. Like, I'm like, damn, some games I'm like, it ain't like 4080 Super, but it's close. There's certain titles I'm still testing it. There's some titles where it's like, it's a little blurry. Like, I'm trying to find out how to get the image to be sharper on AMD. Once I find that out, I really would not complain. Outside of that, but it's a smooth, but Doom looks fucking FSR 4. I'm telling you, I'm about to post that junk. That junk look good. To beat AM4 dead platform out behind, you get yourself a dual monitor. If you get a 1440p dual mode 1080p, a 4K 1080p dual. Get y'all something like that, and you can get I can see you getting a new GPU with all these multi-frames and all this other stuff, and yeah, you can stretch a lot more life out your PC, bro. Y'all see me getting 200 and something frames. This is 1080p. 1080p. Now, and I believe I had turned on upscaling with those settings, because eventually I started playing on upscaling. I even went to ultra performance. I'll show y'all. Yep, right here. Ultra performance. I just clicked it. Watch the frames. 300 frames per second. And the thing I love about the video is what I'm really seeing is the wattage. The video knows how to save power. I'm trying to figure out how to get that like with my AMD. I haven't played with Undervolden or anything like that, and that's with an overclock. So the video does have a little bit of magic, but 9070 for the value is just, it's a beast. And I'm ready to show you. I know there's so much things you could tweak. The Adrenaline software is actually way more overwhelming than the video, to where you can do a lot more customization when it comes to tweaking and playing with settings. I did learn that with AMD, and there's so many people that literally turn in their 9070s to XTs. So like, there's a lot of room to play around and tweak with, and this is all with GDR6. Imagine if they had their hands on GDR7, and you know, that's a whole nother conversation alone with GDR7 and why the video has a price tag. But if they set the price as MSRP, that's what I expect. Maybe 200 at the most over for something like an Astro ROG or something. Outside of that, I'm cool. You know, that's all I gotta get at with y'all. Modern GPUs definitely are getting expensive. Gaming is getting expensive. All this stuff is happening, but there is reasons, and I hate to own up to it, guys. I know y'all gonna hate me for saying this, but you know, it's justifiable at some point at the MSRP, in my opinion. I am not paying over it. I don't like to pay over it. My 4080 Super was 960 tough model. My 970, yeah, I paid over for that I made, but I only paid 700 for Steel Legend. So, in today's economy with tariffs and the American losing some of his dollar and all this other value and all whatever, it is what it is. We don't get into politics and all that. So, yeah, guys, I can see why people are spending more money. You can kind of see how it's getting pixelated and all that now with the ultra performance, but that thing is pulling at a very low render rate and upscaling it to give me this 260 plus frames experience. So maybe they starting to set us up for the long run. That's why these monitors are coming out with the dual modes and stuff like that. So you can get you something like a 5070 Ti or 5070 or 97. You know, I don't want to really recommend those at the prices they're at, but try to get these things at the closest to MSRP as possible. And if you pay over, you pay over. You know, if that's what you want to do with your money, cool. I'm not going to promote it because that just means each generation is just, the product stack is going to get higher and higher and higher with the cap. So, in some ways, it makes sense that this stuff costs how much it costs. But there's so many other ways that I just can't justify it. So that's all I want to get at with y'all. Think long term with your monitors. Upgrade that too. These monitors are getting really down in pricing. This was a pricey unit. I paid like $1,000 for this, but I think this was going for like 12 something. So I got a little bit of it off sale. So I don't mind spending that on it because this is my everyday monitor. I know they say burning and all that crap, man. There's plenty of tests out here of burning, and it's not as bad as people think. To where, like I say, y'all see 1080p running at 200 something frames. Doom, Dark Ages, good game. So yeah, I hate to own up to it. Some of it makes sense, but MSRP makes sense. Anything over, try your best to avoid. But alright, you guys, what y'all rocking with? Do y'all got any nice monitors? Y'all got anything higher up that you can play around with? Cause I bet y'all shocked to see this 1080p ultra performance upscaling. I don't even know if this ultra performance now or whatnot, but I ain't really looking at all that. But definitely, it was at one point. I don't know if I changed it. Y'all can see it. I can't. But anyways, y'all boy like, subscribe. I got some more footage, expedition, and everything else. I got plenty of content coming up for y'all, boy. Comparing my two AM4 and the life beauties. AM4 ain't dead, man. Y'all be watching all these big guys, making y'all believe you gotta get a 9800 X3D, 7800 X3. I ain't gotta do all that, bro. You know, AM4 is still kicking, and I think it gonna keep kicking to the next 10 years. We really want to get it to keep kicking at something with 1080p. So that's what I got for y'all, boy, man. Check in.